All right, fighters, are you ready for the newest and greatest fighting game on the market? Well, get ready, because I'm about to introduce you to the Dub Talk podcast. So before you get on your bikes and ride, though, before you hit your swords up and pull your wings out, there's a few little warnings that you gotta know. Warning number 1. The Dub Talk podcast contains foul language, so listener discretion is advised. Earmuffs, kids. Warning number 2. The Dub Talk podcast contains spoilers for any and all anime, including Sword Art Online, Accel World. Yeah, I've got database in my head, and it's not going away, man. It's not Log Horizon. So, you better finish all those anime. Listener discretion is advised. And warning number 3. The opinions within are those of the original participants only and do not express the views of the Dub Talk podcast as a whole. It's not everybody's problem, kids. It's just our problem. So are you ready? You got your dukes up? Come on now. Let's hit that button and get ready to brain burst. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Dub Talk, where a group of gamers come together to win at the FCG and occasionally talk about English songs for anime. I'm Jet, and I'm joined tonight by Gigi.
Guys, it's another Patreon episode, so guess who's doing a show? Because all I do is Patreon episodes.
And Hardy.
Man, I keep getting logged off the server. Yeah.
You need to check your HDMI cables. That's the wrong cable, but you know what I'm saying.
I bought one of these things.
Stay logged in.
One of these multi-taps from Amazon.
Alexa, keep Hardy on the server.
Yep, and we're here tonight for a very special episode. That's right, it's time for another Patreon request, where one of our lovely patrons gets to participate in a seasonal raffle, where we pick the show with whoever won. This time around, our winner was Anthony Brown, and the series we're covering tonight is the 2012 anime from Sunrise and Reki Kawahara of Sword Art Online fame, or infamy, depending on your point of view, Accel World. Boy, it has been many a year since I've seen the show.
Yeah, it's hard to believe the show is already a decade old.
I watched this while it was airing. Like, that's how long it's been since Accel World was a thing. Wait a minute, did you say that the Sword Art Online person did this?
Yeah.
Like the director, the writer of the light novels?
Like the writer of the light novels, same person.
Oh my god, everything makes so much more sense now.
Specifically, it's like he did Sword Art Online when he was a teenager, which explains everything wrong with Sword Art Online. And then he did this when he was like, a proper writer and everything. Which is why this has less problems than that does.
That's debatable. I love this trash pile.
Anyway, for anyone who hasn't seen Accel World, here's a description from A&M. In 2046, people can access a virtual network known as a Neurolinker via their cell phone terminals. A perpetual victim of bullying, middle school student Hiroyuki spends his time absorbed in games in a corner of his local network. One day, he is approached by the most famous girl in his school, Hiroyuki Hime. She gives him a strange program called Brain Burst that has the power to accelerate the world. So, basically Sword Art Online, but fighting game instead of, like, really bad MMO. And, I guess more stuff to do in the real world, and it's actually only one game and not, like, 5, which is appreciated.
Did you read the light novels?
For this? No.
Yeah. Man, I started those, and they are hard to get through. I loved Accel World back in the day. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I fucking ate that shit up. Like, when it was airing weekly, I, like, watched it all until it got to the second season, and then, you know, I got busy with life. And so I, like, marathoned the entire second season once it was up on Hulu. Yes, it was up on Hulu. It's still up on Hulu. And I was like, oh my God, the second season is so much better than the first season. Because I'm weird. But if you guys I don't suggest you do this by any means. But if you're on my YouTube channel and you go back to some of my videos before I moved, in the background of them, I sit right in front of a Hiroyuki Oshima wall scroll. So you can see the butterfly wings behind me. And that's how much I like Accel World.
That's cool.
Although watching it for the first time after like 8 years or something, definitely didn't hit as hard as it did when I watched it the first time.
For me, I still enjoy it. There are things that haven't aged particularly great. And then there are other elements that I actually kind of liked more the second time around, which surprised me a bit.
In preparation for this episode, I only really watched a few key episodes to remind me of the vocal performances. But back when the episodes that I did watch, I still think really held up pretty well. So I do need to go back and do a full rewatch of it again. And I still need to watch the movie.
Yeah, I never watched the movie either. I bought it.
Same here.
I never watched it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. Like, I was going to because I did still really like Accel World. But then I heard the movie was like half a recap and then half of it is like material from much further than light novels and the anime ended. So I didn't read light novels, so that wasn't going to work for me.
Yeah, I bought like 6 of them. I think I maybe read the first one. But I as most things that I do, I ran out of time, and now they're stuck in my storage unit, so who knows when I'll ever pick the light novels back up again.
Yeah, but at any rate, as always, we are here to talk about the dub for Accel World, and as with any dub, you need a voice director and a scriptwriter, who in this case happen to be the same person. That person being one Chrissy Reed, who has directed dubs for such shows as Durarara Season 1, Legrand's of Flaw Renee, Persona 4 the Animation, and Vampire Knight. Also for all you Western animation.
Wait. I'm sorry. Did someone just say Vampire Knight?
Yes.
Ah, the trash. Continue. I'll be in my own little world for about the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, was also going to mention for all you like Western animation people out there, he is also does the ADR for Rick and Morty. So there's that too. Yeah. Far as everything on that end goes, I think this is held up fairly well, I would say. Like, I know back in the day, a lot of Chrissy Reed's stuff was pretty hit or miss for me. But this was one of the ones that I thought hit pretty well for the most part.
That would explain the penchant for cuss words now that you mention Rick and Morty. Because, yeah, this dub can get pretty obscene with certain characters.
There are a surprising amount of F-bombs in this dub, which you would not expect for this kind of show, but hey, it works.
Yeah, it definitely threw me off watching it, because I don't think I ever watched it dubbed. I think I only watched it subtitled. And I was like, I don't think this happened in the sub, especially since there's tons of curse words in it, but they'll censor when somebody flips somebody off. The mosaic pattern is over the hand. And I was just like, are you kidding me right now? Did you hear what just came out of this dude's mouth? Did you hear it?
That might have been a situation of Viz never getting the home video masters or something like that. That was an issue with one of their other shows too, which had some boobs in it, and they never.
Honestly, given it was a pixelated figure, it's more likely it was just a joke, and they did have the home video masters.
That's possible.
I don't know. I watched this like half on Hulu, half on Funimation, because I still keep my Funimation subscription hidden in my back pocket. Please don't take it away, Funimation. I mean Crunchyroll, our new orange overlords. I don't know, guys. I don't think I have the same fondness for this as you do, because I thought the writing was all over the place. Like, it couldn't keep a consistent tone for me, which, I mean, parts of it, like, I could get, because it's a completely different character, completely different person. Like, you want to match them to how they would speak and everything, but all the cursing like really threw me for a loop. And I'm not saying that was bad, because it was actually highly entertaining, but some of it just seemed really out of place. Like, I'm going to bring this up. There's like 2 episodes in the second half that are quote unquote the beach episodes, which is basically, if you haven't seen it before, for most of the second half, Hiroyuki Hime is on a school trip. And so she's like at the beach on, in, I don't know, Okinawa or something. Don't ask me where she is. But I call them the beach episodes because she doesn't appear for most of the whole season except for these 2 episodes. And I don't know what was going on with them, but the girls who she meets in these episodes, they don't speak words that...
Oh, yeah, there is that.
Yeah, help me out, please.
Yeah, I think the thing is that they're supposed to be speaking like a bunch of Okinawan slang specifically or something to that effect, and I guess there wasn't a good way to translate that, so all of it just got left as is, which feels pretty jarring, honestly.
I mean, she put the word fuckface in there. Like, we couldn't write something else, like, to just... Oh my god, the dogs. I hope you guys can't hear that, but there are literally dogs howling in the courtyard right by my window. Fancy. I don't know. Like, there had to be a better way to write that. It was just so out of place to the point where, like, number one, the captions couldn't tell me what they were saying. And number 2, like, I couldn't understand any of the words that they were saying. Like, it just didn't translate well. And, like, the girls called Hiroyuki Hime Nene. And I was like, I know where that's coming from. But if you just put this, like, to 2012 me, who wasn't all versed in the anime, I'd be like, why are they calling this girl Nene? Like, what is the significance of that? Like, I think there was stuff that needed to be set up, which they're obviously calling her like slang for a big sister in Japanese, in case you were wondering. But it didn't mesh well with me. Like, those 2 episodes felt so out of place with everything else that it never meshed with me. And I don't know. I think that the direction was kind of tough in parts, that it was hard to tell between the fan service and the feelings. There's a couple of scenes in particular, like there's a bunch of scenes where Haru has to cable link with the girls, and like they're very fan servicey scenes. Like, one of them, him and Chiyu are like on a bed and the cord is really short, and it's hard to like differentiate in the direction. Like, is this being sold for emotion, or is this being sold for fan service? And if you've seen it, you kind of know what I'm talking about, but it's just, there's a very weird line that's being tread there, and I was like, how am I supposed to feel about this?
Okay, to be fair, I would not necessarily blame that on a dub. That is kind of a problem with the material. I kind of felt the same way watching that in Japanese. It was like, yeah, it's really weird.
It's weird. I will give her props though. I did think that a lot of the boys were cast really well in here. The girls we'll get to them when we talk about them, but I didn't feel like anything was like super exciting for me to listen to. I don't know. Like, now that you said Vampire Night, a lot of this makes more sense to me. We won't get into what I feel about the Vampire Night dub.
I have a pretty good idea. I've heard nothing but terrible things about that.
I did one of my other podcasts on Vampire Night where I think I talked extensively about it. So I'm not going to rehash that, but it's just, I don't know, like it held up in ways, but to me it was very, it didn't hold up in a lot of ways. Like I know it was like 10 years ago. There's always room for improvement. But the one thing I did want to point out is that you can definitely hear the growth in a lot of voice actors who are in this from this anime to what they're doing now. Like you can tell that like this is maybe where things weren't all, I'm this amazing, super powerful voice actor superhero. And like now they're like, oh yes, like this is where you are, like on the top of the pedestal. So I guess we'll talk about it more as we go through, but maybe I'm the only person who feels this way. This seems to be happening to me a lot when I record episodes.
No, you're cool. Did you have anything you want to add, Hardy?
No, I'm just, I'm pretty, I have to go back and rewatch it again, but as far as my revisiting goes, I think it's held up pretty well. One thing that did kind of throw me off, but I think it might be fitting, is a lot of the gamer speak, as to say. There's a character who we won't be covering tonight, but she responds with a lot of, what is the word? Like, she says GJ for good job.
Oh, I missed that entirely.
Yeah, she does use a lot of like shorthands and stuff.
Yeah, like she would be the type of person who would say LOL out loud. So, but I mean, it makes sense in this regard because they are literally playing a video game. So, I mean, that's just, it kind of threw me off, but I mean, I can live with it.
See, and I don't even remember that. So it's funny that some things hit some people in one way and then in other people like completely differently.
Yeah, that's the fun of podcasting, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's the fun of having me on your episode.
Anyway, it's a 10-year-old dub. It could be worse than it is, but I think it, in general, it's held up fairly well.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have like too many problems on the technical aspect revisiting this. Again, aside from like the Slam with the Okinawa episodes, that was just like could have been a better way to translate that.
It's just weird. Guys, just go watch those 2 episodes. They're completely out of context. You don't even need to know anything. It's just weird.
Yeah, I mean, those episodes are weird in general. Apparently, they were like bonus material for like whatever the light novels were covering. So it does make sense that they are like completely disconnected from everything else that's going on anyway. But yeah, it's just weird. The plot for those episodes are really weird too. So yeah.
Which ones?
I said the plot for those episodes are also kind of weird, but
yeah, I didn't get it. It was just like kind of like filler, but not interesting filler. I don't know.
Yeah. But at any rate, we should probably get to the characters, and in this case, we're gonna actually keep the cast fairly concise for this one, and we're gonna go through most of the key characters. So, writing down the list, we have Ash Roller, Fuko, aka Skybreaker, Seizinomi, aka Dust Taker, Unico, aka Scarlet Rain, Chiyu, aka Lime Bell, Taku, aka Sand Pile, Kuruki Hime, aka Black Lotus, and then lastly, Hiroyuki, aka Tomo Crow. So running them down, Ash Roller is a crude biker dude who's Haru's very first opponent in the Accelerated world and somehow manages to stick around as a recurring side character, and which is great because he swears a lot and he's also the better Def Gun. Skybreaker is Ash Roller's guardian who decides to teach Haru how to use Incarnation so he can learn how to fly again after he has his wings taken away by Nomi. She was also a member of Hiroyuki Hime's Legion, like a nebulous, and their friendship apparently fell apart when she got too obsessed with being able to fly. And then Seishinobu is a first-year student at Howard School who's revealed to be a birth linker. He tries to blackmail Haru and Chi into being a servant so he can steal birth points from them. And his avatar is called Dusttaker and has the power to steal special moves and abilities from other players, including Haru's wings.
And he's also the single most punchable first year imaginable.
Yeah, like, literally just like the single most punchable middle schooler you will ever meet. Just so punchable. And then Unico is she is originally introduced as a sweet little girl who claims to be one of Haru's distant relatives, who's just coming over to his house for a visit and make some cookies and everything. In reality, however, she's a foul-mouthed gamer girl who swears like a sailor and is revealed to be the current Red King, with her avatar Scarlet Rain having the best long-range firepower in the accelerated world. And frankly, next to Ash Roller, she's basically the best character in this show.
Yeah.
Agree to disagree.
Okay, that's when it's fair. Okay, and then Chiyu is the childhood friend of Haru and Taku, who is dating the latter when the series starts out and is worried about all the bullying Haru faces at school. When Haru and Taku kind of admit they got into a pretty heated fight, she takes an interest in Brain Burst and the accelerated world in order to teach these dumb boys how to enjoy video game without letting it rule their lives. And her avatar is Liba, which is one of the few avatars in Brain Burst with the power to heal. And this causes a whole lot of drama in the back half when Nobi tries to use it for his own ends, and it's a pretty messy thing. And then next we have Taku, who is Haru's childhood friend and Chiyu's boyfriend, as we mentioned before. He seems to be a well put together kendo star, but is also a birth linker called Cyan Pile, who's been trying to challenge Hiroyuki Hime to a duel since he's very low on points, and secretly resents Haru for constantly making Chi worry about him. But, once the three of them kind of work all that out, he reforms and basically becomes a total bro and helps Haru in learning more about Brain Burst.
Best wingman.
Yes, very. And then getting into our leads, we have Hiroyuki Hime, the student council vice president and the most popular girl in Haru's middle school. One day, she gives Haru a sudden invitation to meet her in the cafeteria and decides to give Haru a copy of Brain Burst before taking on the role of his mentor and guardian. Within the accelerated world, she's one of the 6 kings, Black Lotus, and is being hunted down by the other kings for breaking the truce between them in order to reach level 10 and meet the creator of Brain Burst. And then lastly, Haru is a bully middle schooler who spends all his time playing video games so he can avoid how terrible his reality is. And after Hiroyuki Hime gives him a copy of Brain Burst and takes him on as a pupil, he becomes devoted to her and wants to become her knight and someday reach the end of Brain Burst himself.
He may or may also be the good Eric Cartman.
He's a little piggy. He's so cute.
I hate that you drawn any parallel between those characters.
I just want to squish him. You baby.
Playing Ash Ruler is Ben Diskin. Playing Skybreaker is Joanna Louise. Playing Dusttaker is Amanda Miller. Playing Chiyu is Michelle T. Paish. God, I don't.
CA.
Okay, I don't know how to pronounce that, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Okay, well, it doesn't really matter. This is just an alias. I'm not going to bother trying to pronounce this correctly. Taku is...
You skipped over Nico.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Nico is voiced by Sarah Ann Williams. Taku is voiced by Lucid Dodge. Hiroyuki Hime is voiced by Kira Buckland, and Haru is voiced by Eric Scott Kimmerer. Ben Diskin has played such characters as Zaki Amide in Kuroko's Basketball, Joseph Joestar in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Season 1, and as mentioned before, Death Gun in Sword Art Online Season 2. Hiwana Louise, you would know by other names, but has played such characters as Kyoko Yatsuzaki in The Asterisk War, which I just remember exists at all. Marine in Violet Evergarden, and Ren Hathaway in Magi Labyrinth of Magic. Amanda Miller has played such characters as Ibuki Kaiji in Gapelion, Makoto Kino, aka Sailor Jupiter, in the Viz meeting up of Sailor Moon, and Boruto Uzumaki in Boruto Naruto's Next Generation.
Naruto's son.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Who's Naruto? Do you mean Boruto's dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
Just checking.
Okay, Sarah Ann Williams has played such characters as Puck in Berserk 2016, and Neferpito in Hunter x Hunter 2011, and Midori Kishima in Kakegurui.
Yes.
As for Mattel Touché, this is the only credit to her name, but as mentioned before, she goes by another name, and I'm pretty sure if you have heard literally any dub from California over the last, 2 decades, you'll be able to tell who this is immediately. Continuing, Lucian Dodge has played such characters as Mahito in Jujutsu Kaisen, Amuro Ray in Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin, and Wyvern Velvet in the Fate franchise. Kira Buckland has played such characters as Minoka Kyoto in Legrand's Fallen Renee, Mary Satame in Kakegurui Twin, Princess Cialis Goodrest in The Sleeping Princess of the Demon Castle, and of course, Jolene Cujo in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean, because finally getting to live the dream. And then lastly, Eric Scott Kimmerer has played such characters as Hayato Amagiri in The Asterisk War, Alibaba Saluja in Magi the Labyrinth of Magic, Teruki Hanazaka in Mob Psycho 100, and Ryuji Takatsu in Toradora.
Whew, that's a lot of people.
So it's quite a few people.
Yeah, so I guess we can probably start with Ben, since he is indeed show the leads out of these guys. But he is a lot of fun, though. It's always nice whenever Ben gets to be really hammy, and he definitely got to be very hammy here.
It's
Dude, that's... Sorry, go
it's
ahead.
a kind of competition between him and Nico as to who can drop the most F-bombs between them.
Oh, extremely.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Never ever thought I'd hear the phrase "cum guzzler" ever spoken in an English dub.
No. And he had, what did he say, bitch tits or something? I wrote it in the chat. Now I gotta go find it. In the same 90-second period. Hold on. I'm gonna be like, what? Yeah, cum guzzler and bitch tits in the same 90 seconds. Thank you, Ben Diskin, the golden ham to end all golden hams.
But yeah, he's just having a lot of fun, and this very grungy biker dude. And then again, as mentioned before, it's kind of nice that while he is, initially just kind of there to be kind of tutorial boss, he does come back later when Haru loses the power to fly and kind of, decides to be a bro and help him out a bit.
Did this seem very out of place for anyone else? Every time Ash Roller spoke, I was so taken aback by anything he said. You know me. You guys know me. I'm not offended by stuff very easily. And I was just like, oh my god. What? Son, does your mother know that you speak this way? Because you're clearly a kid on a motorcycle. Who are you?
He's probably a 12-year-old on Xbox Live.
Oh my god. You're right though. You're right though.
Oh, probably.
It's like that scene in the Avengers movie. with Fat Thor. I can't. Oh my god. No, he is the golden ham to end all golden hams here. But he's so much fun. Like, I never knew what Ash Roller was going to say. And he's the one who they censor flicking off people. So I was just kind of like, what is happening? But you know what? In an anime that's sometimes full of like really uncomfortable drama or just like a bunch of fighting, it really needed the comic relief that Ben provided, and he was so good. He was so good in this. Now, I just like, I'm gonna compare this to the old dub for Mr. Love, Queen's Choice, which I know you guys haven't played, but it was a mobile game near and dear to my heart before all the drama happened, and I had to stop playing it because they were really mean to voice actors.
Is this the one where they got mad over Taiwan being a country, or?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Which it is, by the way, just putting that out there.
And Lucian Dodge is also in this game. So from me hearing Ben Diskin's like super daddy Victor to go to this, because I like, other than Kuroko's, which I haven't even gotten to the part where he's in yet, I haven't really heard him in a ton of things. But oh my god, what a change. And it's been so many years since he recorded this too, so I just like, kudos, my dude. Like, this was hysterical.
I am definitely very curious to hear your reaction when you get to him and Kuroko's. He's a real treat there.
You know, Aomine is my favorite in Kuroko's, right?
That does not surprise me.
Yeah, not at all.
Like, I am. Ooh, it's gonna be a fun time. I'm sure my boyfriend will go hide in the corner when I get to those episodes.
Beware of the splash zone.
Oh, not again. Didn't we retire that joke? Can we retire the splash zone and the poncho joke?
I just realized that, speaking of like swearing, it's a fun little fact. Ben Discus Almeida is the one character in the Kuroko's dub who almost gets to say the F word.
Man, and this was like TV-14 too, wasn't it? Like, this wasn't TVMA.
This dub was, the Kuroko dub was, oh wait, no, technically it was for some reason. I don't know why. I guess
it's
just
weird.
because it had, I guess like literally just because it had fan service for like 2 episodes.
I don't know. Ash Roller's pretty damn good though. Ben, you do good. You do good work, my dude.
And then moving on to Joanna Louise as Skybreaker. I thought she was a pretty nice presence here. She had like the right energy for this kind of character. You know, sounding very polite as a kind of like second mentor of sorts. And I thought.
Go ahead.
You were about to say something?
No, I need to go back and watch the entire show again, because I really, this time for this episode, I really only watched the last episode, because I watched the first, the second, and the last, because they covered all the characters we're covering tonight. And I just seem to remember her being kind of, I don't know, kind of off in comparison to the other characters. Maybe that's mainly because she's more soft-spoken than everyone else.
She is soft-spoken in a way that does seem kind of odd, but but having heard this actor and a lot of other stuff, I'm pretty sure this is just kind of like how she generally sounds.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it worked pretty well here, and I thought this character's whole deal was pretty interesting. Where
Robo-legs?
The whole Robo-leg thing, and how like her obsession to fly is because in the real world she has like prosthetic legs and can't walk on her own, and I thought that whole thing was like pretty interesting, and I guess like a pretty good I guess like a pretty interesting way to parallel, I guess, Haru losing his wings during that whole bit.
Right.
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit of a surprise he had a connection to Hiroyuki and all, but I thought that whole thing was also pretty interesting. And it was kind of nice that they got to like make up in the final episode. That was kind of cute.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. You remember when I said I don't know how I feel about the girls in this anime? This is one of them. Like, she's very soft-spoken. I almost kind of felt like it was lifeless. And here's the Gigi thing. Like, is it an artistic choice or is it just a lifeless performance? I don't know. I'm not going to make that decision. I will say that the vocal performance did make me feel a lot of sympathy for this character. Like, I don't know, like, you kind of wanted to, like, give her a cup of tea and a hug and a pat on the head and be like, there, my little sweetie pie. I'm so sorry about what has happened in your life. But other than, like, the sympathy factor, she has a lot of long exposition dumps to give. And to be quite honest with you, I was zoning out during a lot of them because of, like, the vocal tone. And I feel bad. Like, I don't know, it just felt very lifeless to me. And I know that this is a trope in the Japanese performance also. So if they were making it sound like that, then hey, more power to you. But it didn't do very much for me other than I wanted to give her a hug and maybe a plushie.
Yeah, I'm realizing like with my familiarity with how she sounds and other stuff, and how she sounded like another game, specifically where I could say what the game is, but if I said it, I'd also be revealing who this person actually is, so I probably shouldn't. I will instead just type it in the chat because I think you have probably played this game before, Gigi.
Oh, really? I don't play a lot of games, so this is surprising. Okay.
Just a second.
No, I've never played this game, so that would mean nothing to me.
I thought you had played that game.
I played it for like 20 minutes, and I have to play it some more because I never could get into the fighting mechanic.
Well, okay, but yeah, that is probably like the most recent thing a lot of people would refer. But
Gotcha.
Yeah, but generally, I feel like a lot of her performances kind of do the whole ara kind of trope, and I kind of feel like that's.
Oh yeah.
And I kind of feel like that's probably what she was going for here, maybe.
But it didn't sound ara. It just kind of sounded like. I don't know. I feel bad. I hope it's an artistic choice. It felt lifeless. To be fair, she's in a wheelchair. Maybe this was a character choice. I don't know. Somebody else talk so I can stop feeling bad about my opinion.
We could feel angry. Instead of feeling bad, you can feel angry because I guess we should talk about Amanda Miller now.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this performance was a lot of fun when I heard it a decade ago, and it's so pretty fun now. Because fun thing, back when I first heard this dub and I heard this performance, this specifically shot Amanda Miller to my front runner for who I wanted to be Killua in the Hunter x Hunter dub because fans had not yet licensed that show.
Really?
Yeah. And while she was not casted there, she did get to be Boruto in Boruto, so I guess she got permanent job security either way.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I just wanted to say that as despicable of a character that Seiji Nomi is, he is still by far probably the best villain that Kawahara has ever written.
Oh, okay. He is by far the least problematic.
Yeah.
Hey, if nothing else, he does not actually assault anyone.
Right? He doesn't actually assault anyone. He doesn't, and you could kind of almost sympathize with him because he was bullied into the way he is now, and I mean, he's just rotten to the core, but he does get his comeuppance and does change for the better. So, but yeah, he's so much better than any Sword Art Online villain, and that, yes, I'm talking Death Gun too. People like to say Death Gun's a good villain. No, not at all.
I never got that far. I tapped out after season 1.
Yeah, after season 1 of Sword Art Online, I learned not to touch the hot stove. If the stove is red, don't touch it. I'm like, nope, I'm out. So
probably a very wise decision. I have also not seen SAO past season 1.
But yeah, I have watched a few episodes of Gun Gale Online, and I've learned that Sword Art Online is much better when Kirito is not in it.
That is a very fair assessment.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, I'll get back on Kirito when we talk about Hiroyuki. But anyways, I loved Amanda's performance in this. She just makes Seiji just like this evil little bastard of a kid. And just, if I would actually want to put him on like a top villains list if someone were to make another one in this day and age. Not very high, not at the top, but I wanted to be on it.
Man.
She does a good job of making him sound just so very punchable.
Very punchable. Okay, so let's have story time. I remember watching this in the sub, and I was terrified of Nomi. I was like, oh my god, he just sounds so menacing and like dripping with evilness. And I couldn't, that's why I watched all of the back half of the show. Like, I marathoned it because I had to figure out like what was going on with Nomi. Like, why is Nomi such a jerk face? Like, there's got to be something going on here, and there is. But like, just how Nomi spoke in the sub made me want to watch the show more. I'm not terrified from Amanda's performance here. I wasn't kind of scared at all. I didn't get Nomi in the dub as scary, but more of just like an asshole bully, which is fine because she did a terrific job doing that. I just didn't feel like the terror and the menace that like went through me when I watched it in Japanese. But she did such a good job, especially in that last episode where Nomi is like screaming and pleading for Haru not to murder him, basically. And I was like, oh, that like cuts really bad. But I felt no remorse for Nomi dying, which I guess would be the point there. Also, when I watched this the first time, I was having kind of like an Ouran High School Host Club moment where I couldn't tell what gender Nomi was, basically. And in the Japanese, he's also voiced by a female seiyuu. So I was like, okay, that's cool. Let's let Nomi be Nomi. And here I got the same vibe. So I know they dressed Nomi in the boys' uniform and everything. And what is the canon here? Because maybe I'm making up my own head canon. But I'm like, Nomi is just Nomi. And Amanda did a good job of portraying them. I just didn't get the same characterization that it felt to me when I watched it in sub.
Yeah, admittedly, it has been a very long time since I watched it in sub, so I'm more familiar with Amanda's take. But I do kind of feel like you were saying. She does kind of go a little less for sounding frightening and more going specifically for the bully angle. But Nomi basically is a middle school bully, so that angle works extremely well. He's
Yeah.
he sounds very much like he likes to be in charge of everything. He thinks he's a big cheese, and Amanda gets that across really well. And pretty much every interaction he has with Haru and pretty much any other character throughout the series, which makes it so very fun when he finally gets his comeuppance. And I did and while it is a kind of last minute revelation, I did think it was pretty interesting that we learned that he is kind of the way he is because he's experienced a lot of bullying. And again, I mean, it doesn't really excuse anything he's done, but it does kind of make his character more interesting. And I thought that Amanda handled that whole revelation pretty well.
Yeah, that was good acting.
Yeah, honestly, we'll get to it later, but I realized upon rewatching this show that in a lot of ways it is a really weird anti-bullying PSA.
True. I forgot how it ended, so I was convinced Haru was just gonna let him go. And then when he didn't, and I was just like, whoa, shit, that really freaking happened.
Had to put.
He was like, no, never again,
They had to put him
my
out
dude.
of his misery.
And I was just like, wow. Oh, it was weird. It was weird. And then when he sees Nomi at school the next day, Nomi has no recollection of who this dude even is. And I was just kind of like, okay, all right. But there is one weird continuity point that I don't know. What the guy who's tag teaming with Nomi basically tells them how brain bursts can erase your memories. And then at the end of the episode, they're all talking about, wow, I wonder how brain bursts can actually erase your memories. And I'm like, dude, that dude just told you. Were you not listening 20 minutes ago? He told you how they do it. Maybe he was talking about something else, but I was just like, it was right there.
Yeah, I know.
Did you miss it?
I know it sounded like he was talking about something else, but I wasn't totally sure. Also, hey, brief shout out to Matt Mercer playing that guy. Cool.
That was Matt Mercer?
Yeah, that was Matt Mercer.
Y'all, don't forget how much I love Matt Mercer. He was in my top 5 at one point in time. I think he has since gotten kicked out, but that's okay.
No, but yeah, Amanda was a really great performance. It's really funny, even if the character himself was again just extremely punchable. And then moving on to a character who's not punchable, Sarah Ann Williams as Nico, who again is just a lot of fun.
What do you mean not punchable? I felt that Nico was extremely punchable.
In fact, Hiroyuki Hime actually punched her.
Okay, look. I'm a simple person. Give me an angry child who swears a lot. It's just that's just a pretty amusing twist to me.
That's great.
Especially just the very specific way in which that switch gets flipped. That switch gets flipped is hilarious to me.
It's the 12-year-old on Xbox Live, only female.
Exactly.
Oh my god. Guys. So she was so good when she was crazy and angry, but when it was lolly time, I was like, no thanks. I was like, I'm gonna peace out with this because I can't right now. It was not my jam, the little girl voice. To be fair, you have to be an extremely good little girl voice to impress me. But the flip was great. Loved the flip. Y'all know I love Sarah Ann Williams. She got a W for me. I wrote down yikes. Yikes, and not everyone can be baby.
If Nico Yazawa was a gamer.
Pretty much. But yeah, I thought her performance was pretty fun here. The Moe QT stuff is kind of a little weird and jarring. But once we get the actual personality, she's pretty. Yeah, she's pretty fun the entire way through. I do kind of like the weird sense of confidence he has about basically everything. and also the way that she just very explicitly seems to like trolling other characters is a lot of fun. Sarah Edwards is pretty much always very good at that sort of thing. And even if this was very early on in her doing that kind of thing, it pretty much explains why that pretty much became her niche. This is just the kind of character she excels at. No pun intended.
I was just about to say, haha.
Dorito Show Taco from Taco Bell. Sorry.
I don't know, fam. Like, this just, it was, I really enjoy the performance when she gets crazy. Maybe the thing is that I really enjoy the acting when the characters kind of drop their fakeness about them. Because it's the same way with a bunch of characters to me. Once they drop the fakeness of whatever it is that they're trying to throw out into the universe, whether it be for Haru's benefit or just in general, I think that's where the acting in this excels a lot. Haha, there's the pun again. Actually, I think it's being spelled incorrectly, but that aside, the little girl Nico was not my favorite Nico. When she did the flip, that's when I really enjoyed it. Like, just when she's being real. Nico being real, man.
Yeah, and I do appreciate that she gets like a lot of really, yeah, she gets a lot of pretty good comedy, like when she breaks into Haru's room and like finds all his like R-rated games. That was pretty funny. And it's like literally just hanging out on the couch playing them. And then
that was really creepy. She like fucking breaks into his house and is like, "I'm your cousin," and he's like, "Bitch, what?" And she's like, "Let's take a bath together," and he's like, "What? What? Come on." It's weird. These anime are weird.
Yeah, our boy is not the brightest. But while she's pretty good at the comedy, I do kind of like that she can also handle the dramatic moments pretty well too, because when she's introduced, there is like the whole thing where she has to essentially stop the person who originally like introduced her to Brainverse and everything, and you know all the drama that comes with that. And I thought that Sarah handled a lot of that pretty well, when like the whole revelation that, hey, like other characters in this show, she also got bullied a lot at the game because she like apparently grew up in an orphanage and was bullied a lot by the other kids for being very abrasive, because that's just who she is, I guess. And I thought that whole angle was pretty interesting, especially since it seems like in general this show, like SAO, tries to do the whole like real world self versus yourself in the game thing, and I think compared to SAO, this does that whole thing a little better. I guess you can tell that Kawahara sort of improved as a writer from SAO, but maybe not by that much.
I think the two are very similar, and now that I know that they're from the same writer, I know why now. I mean, basically, Haru is going to be the insert character for any boy who's reading this, and is like, "Hey, fam, I'm a little fat kid, and I get bullied a lot, but now I have a super hot girlfriend, and all these other girls who are climbing all over me. Wow, just because of a video game of how good I am. If you're good at video games too, you can have super hot girls crawling all over you."
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to that when we talk to Haru, but there's some stuff about his character that I think does work generally well. And then other stuff that is just kind of like, okay, man, I wish this wasn't a light novel.
I mean, I feel the same way. We'll talk about it when we get to Haru, but it's now everything is like sort of clicking into place for me.
Yeah, I like Sarah a lot. Did you have anything you want to add, Hardy?
No, I thought she was hilarious. So, That's really all I have to say.
Cool. Then I guess we can talk about Michelle as you, which
I think it's pronounced CA.
again, I'm not going to go into the pronunciation here, but
Okay.
yeah, I thought this was fine. I mean, it's the kind of character she's played a lot in other shows, so she's good at that sort of thing in other shows. She was pretty good at it here. This character was fine, but again, but then do I have problems with how this character is just written in general? It's kind of the whole problem with this show being based off a light novel. Because when she's introduced, as mentioned before, she is explicitly dating another character who is not the protagonist, and I thought that was pretty interesting. But then, later on, that does not happen, and there's like a whole bunch of weird mixed messaging that kind of feels at odds with what the show is trying to do otherwise. And it's kind of like, you don't have to do this. You do not need every character to be in love with the main character. You can just, not do that. But I guess it doesn't sell light novels.
And if the show had a damsel in distress, she'd be the closest thing to it.
A lot of the stuff she has to do in the second half is it's not particularly great, but Michelle does a good job. Does a pretty good job handling what she gets. I didn't think that in isolation here she had a pretty fun dynamic with Haru and Taku for the most part. Like, whenever it's not the relationship drama, just like the three of them being friends, I thought they had like pretty fun chemistry, and they had some pretty funny interactions. Like that whole scene where they're like eating the makeup ice cream. I thought that was pretty funny. And the fact that of the three of them, she's the one who kind of keeps telling them that they shouldn't keep taking this game so seriously, and that angle is kind of like pretty amusing in its own way. But otherwise, it's just kind of like, this is a childhood friend character again. Michelle has played this sort of thing in other shows, and she does it pretty well here.
I especially like near the end where, after having been forced to become Nomi's lackey and servant, how she's the one who's able to turn the tables on him, and her whole speech, like, I played you like a fiddle the whole time. It felt very vindicating to me. Because up until that, she was very meek and timid. It's like, I can't do this. And then she's like, haha, it was me all along. So.
Yeah. I didn't like that particular twist. That was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
I am all about Chiyu in the second half of this anime and not about Chiyu in the first half of this anime. Wow, when she becomes Lime Bell, it sure sounds really magical, doesn't it? Wow, I see what happened there in the future. Something that I cannot speak about. However, y'all get it. It's pretty identical. See, in the beginning, and this is what I talked about in the first part of this episode, it's really hard to gauge the tone of Chiyu between the fan service and the drama, because this is the part with the very small chord where she's like talking really close to Haru, and you could tell it's supposed to be a fan servicey moment, but I think it's supposed to be played seriously. Maybe.
Yeah.
I was laughing.
Yeah, it felt like
I was like, this is dumb.
Yeah, it felt like it was supposed to be. It felt like it was supposed to be dramatic, but it's a light novel, so of course you have to have fan service, and it's kind of like, again, you could not do that, but I guess it doesn't sell novels.
I really liked Chiyu in the back half, but Chiyu in the first half was just kind of, I mean, the performance was fine, but it was nothing to write home about. I think in the second half of the show, that's when the performance ramped up a lot. Maybe because Chiyu got to do more things and was more a prevalent part of the actual story as opposed to just being like the insert childhood friend character who now has to get with Haru because this is a light novel. But I felt that the performance really grew as the anime went along, and thankfully it did because it made the twist at the end like so much more satisfying.
Man, as you were talking, a light bulb literally just went off in my brain, and I'm kind of amazed I did not think about it until now. We'll probably talk about it more when we get to Haru, but I just kind of realized he basically has, like, it's not the exact, well, obviously he's not the same character as Kirito, but there is the exact same problem in how, like, his relationship in Hiroyuki Hime is framed, and the Kirito also have a relationship in that. In isolation, it is fine, but man, you do not need all these other girls getting in the way of it.
Ooh. Yeah, there's that light bulb. Yeah, I keep forgetting that at first it was a harem. Maybe I blocked that out because I'm such a sap. Because what is it, episode 7? I die.
Are we talking about SAO or?
Yeah.
A harem that includes his cousin.
I really did block that out.
And you were much better off for it.
Now it's here in my brain, festering forever. Or until I forget about it in about 20 minutes, but you know.
Yeah, just a few shots of vodka will take care of that. Wipe that right out.
Oh my god, I haven't had vodka in forever.
Mm.
I'm a good girl now. No more box wine.
What?
I know. My brand. My brand.
I'm sure you'll find something else.
God, now everything just makes so much more sense. Like, I'm just, now I'm really mad about it because he literally did the same thing twice. And it's not like he did the same thing twice with enough differences to make it plausible. Like, they're both light novel series that are, like, huge series. Like, they're so long. I'm sad. I really did want to finish the light novels after I rewatched this, and now I'm like, forget it. Why should I?
I will say this: between the two, I would much rather have gotten more Accel World than more Sword Art Online. But alas, we did not live in that timeline.
Yeah, I'm sad because it didn't. It really was kind of open ended. Like, it didn't end in a good spot for me. I wanted more.
So good to move on.
Yeah.
I'm good. Let's talk about the best performance in this entire show.
I was going to say that's debatable, but honestly, yeah, Lucian really is good here.
He is best big bro.
He good boy.
Yeah, and it's pretty impressive considering that this was like, okay, this wasn't like super early in his career because he had like apparently done some stuff in New York before coming to LA, but this was like maybe the second or third big thing he did in LA. I guess it was so like decently early in his career, but this was pretty impressive. And I think it helps that like he gets to. I think out of the entire, I think frankly out of the entire cast, you get to see like the most sides of this character, and Lucian gets to portray all of them really well. Like in the early episodes, you know, he's like the very nice, polite childhood friend, and who's kind of putting on a front, and Lucian does a pretty good job of like putting on a front. And then you get to episode 5 where he drops the mask and like lets out all his resentment, and Lucian does a really, really good job just dropping all that resentment. And then the rest of the show, he gets to be like a really chill bro, and Lucian does a really good job just playing a really chill bro angle. It's a lot of fun.
Why is this so good? Why? I'm about to say something that I don't think is correct, so I'm going to look it up on my phone while y'all talk because I think I fucked something up in my brain.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see why, Jet, you were lobbying for Lucien Dodge to get a lead role for so long until, what was it? El Malloy finally came around.
Yep.
Because he is really good. But actually, I'll tell you this. That may have been his first anime lead role, but he did play the lead role in a video game before this.
Oh yeah, and wasn't it like Valkyria Chronicles 4 or something?
No, he was the voice in Dust and Elysian Tale.
Okay. One of those. I knew it was an RPG. I just didn't remember.
It's not an RPG. It's a Metroidvania. Yeah. But that was back in his indie days. You look at that game's cast, and you can pick out some actors that have gone on to bigger things, but most of it's very, very low key. Yeah. Kira Buckland was in it. Let's see here. Chris Guerrero was in it.
Oh, wow. That's a shocker.
Yeah. It's actually a very good game, too. If you can find it, I think you can get it on Steam, probably.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm. Good, quick little Metroidvania. And that's Megalovania. There's difference.
Well, are you sure?
Yeah. Now, if you could play Megalovania while playing a Metroidvania, then that'd be awesome.
So please ignore my dumbass who thought Lucien Dodge was in Mr. Love because he's not. The dude in the game is named Lucien, and I'm an asshole. So he's actually played by Bill Rogers. Because I was like, God, why doesn't he sound like Lucien at all? Because he didn't play him. So I'm dumb but Ben Diskin was in Mr. Love. So everyone just keep that in the back of your mind. So that's okay though, because Lucien Dodge does the best job in this anime. I'm saying it now from my voice to God's ears. Taku has so many levels to him and so many different parts of his character that are revealed to us through voice acting. Like, there's hurt, there's pain, there's drama, there's anger, there's revenge, there's broing out, like there's being the nice guy and everything. And Lucien gets to run the gamut here with the performance for Taku, and God bless him because he does such a good job. Like, I don't know, like, this is just my favorite. I'm not a big Taku person. Like, he's not my favorite character. I think he's kind of boring, just the character, but I thought the performance was really great here. I'm not at all mad about it. Like, I can't think of one terrible thing or even one, not great thing to say. Like, I just really think Lucien did such a good job here.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm sorry that I thought you were in Mr. Love and you weren't. That's my bad because I'm a jerk.
Yeah, I do like Taku for the most part, mostly because, like, again, this is a white novel. The bar for that sort of thing is low, so it's kind of nice to get a secondary prominent male character who is not explicitly a punching bag. Like he is for, like, the span of a single episode, but then he gets better. And a lot of that actually ties into his character later on, and the show does a pretty decent job with that, which is, again, surprising considering this is Kawahara, but a lot of Taku's character works pretty well. It's nice to get to see a lot of different facets of him. And again, because this show is just one weird anti-bullying PSA for some reason, we find out later on that he too was bullied as a child, and that whole revelation was pretty interesting. I thought that Lucien handled that scene really well.
That was so good. It was so good. My favorite part, this is going to make me sound weird, but my favorite part was when he was all sad, like after he and Chiyu had broken up, and he was like, yeah, I still love Chiyu. And I was like, oh, God, my heart. I'm like, you get your girl back. You get her out of that little piggy's arms. He has too many women and not enough arms.
I just found
Do these women like bacon? I don't know.
I just found the scene I found amusing was when they were talking and all the girls around them thought that they were a couple.
That was great.
Taku's good. Taku's great. I love Taku.
He's a real bro.
Is it time to talk about the Black Swan Princess?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. To its man, it is really funny that they just never reveal what her actual name is.
It saw something.
I thought they did. Isn't it Sayuki? Isn't that the thing?
I mean, it's probably revealed in light novels, but I haven't read them, so I actually don't know what it is.
Oh, I can't remember. I don't think I got that far, which is like in the beginning, which is kind of sad. So
all we know is that Skybreaker calls her Sa-chan, so Sa would be probably the first syllable of her name.
It's probably Sayuki because when she's in the hospital, she's like, it's actually very close to my real name.
Probably.
Which, anything with Yuki means snow.
That's a callback.
What?
That's like the one and only thing I know about the Hardy dub.
Oh, I've never seen that. Sorry, ma'am. Yeah. I'm thinking of that kid who made snow bunnies in one of the Key anime. And she's like, Yuki! And I'm like, oh, Yuki means snow.
Yeah.
Thank you for that revelation that I will now have in my head forever.
Her name is literally Black Snow Princess.
That makes sense. Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
This is a very interesting performance. Also, like, pretty early in Kira's career. This was, like, her second leading role.
Yeah, this was way before she absolutely blew up and got the job as 2B in Nier Automata. So.
Yeah, because I remember this and Lagrange were around the same time, and I think Lagrange was, like, a little before this one. Because I remember looking at that and being like, oh, well, I had never heard of Kira Buckland, but she sounds pretty good. And then lo and behold, a whole decade later, she's now Jolene.
Never let your memes always let your memes be dreams. Or never let your dreams be memes, I guess. Or let them be both. I don't know.
See, this is the one that I feel has the most growth as an actor, because this felt kind of standard anime girl here to me, like in this dub. I wasn't getting anything like super special about the performance, and in fact I think it's episode 2 where she has like this giant exposition dump, and I was like, I can't remember what's going on here, but at the same time, like I don't know if I can like listen to it all just to try and make sense without some kind of subtitle at the bottom. I don't know. But like, you take this dub of Kira from 2012, right? 2012, 2014, something like that. And then like to her now as Jolene, which, God, if we ever get to talk about that, how stellar is that performance?
Oh.
So you can definitely tell that like she has so grown and like perfected her craft as a voice actor. It's so nice to be able to hear it.
Her performance in that is a real treat. And I do like this one for the most part. Like you were saying, it is kind of very standard anime girl, but I think it does kind of work in its own way. And I think the way she plans to play the character in and of itself is kind of interesting, because Hiroyuki Hime is kind of very truly putting on a very kind of like posh and polite kind of act, like for the way she presents herself to the way she like talks to everyone. And Kira does a pretty good job of like getting that across, even if it does kind of at various points feel a little weird to hear a middle schooler talking like that. But at the same time, it is kind of there are various points where we kind of see it is, if not purely an act, there are points where she does kind of maybe drop that whole thing a little bit. And I think those are the moments for me where it like really works. Like whenever, she actually like gets flustered for a second, or What's it? Or
Oh
like
yeah, that's adorable.
or she has to be like really dramatic. I think Kira gets that across pretty well.
Yeah, Hardy, that last episode where she's talking to the Skybreaker chick, like I thought that was like the best Kira acting in the whole show, like top notch. Like I loved that scene on the bridge or whatever it was.
Yeah, no, I understand the issue that people have with the info dumps because Kawahara is very bad at that. He will take two characters or more, put them in a cafe, and have them exposition dump for extended periods of time. He does that in all three of his major series. I forget what the last one is called, but he does it in this, he does it in SAO, and he does it in his third one too. And so, yeah, I can get why it can be kind of a slog at times to sit through the exposition dumps. But all in all, I think, given the source material, they act out pretty well. And I believe Kira has most of them in the show. The cafe scenes.
Yeah, she has a lot. There's a couple that she doesn't have, but she has a lot of the exposition dumping on her shoulders.
Oh yeah, it is a lot. But to her credit, she handles it pretty well for the most part.
Yeah, no, I think for an early Kira Buckland role, it's fine. Yeah, I'd have no problems with it. I even say it's pretty good. So.
Yeah. I did also appreciate upon rewatch specifically a lot of the way she interacts with Haru during the earliest episodes, where you can tell there is kind of like a clear interest that Haru is not seeing because he's very stupid, and it is kind of interesting. It is kind of interesting seeing a lot of that play off in hindsight, and it does kind of make the whole like big dramatic scene in episode 4 where like she protects him from the car crash almost work. I feel like I think the dynamic generally works, but I feel like, maybe if it had like another episode or two before you jump to this, like maybe work better, but maybe not right in episode 4.
Why didn't she just jump out of the way too? Wouldn't that have been like way better? Save them both. No, she's gonna get hit by a car.
Why? It's anime. We had to do something. It's anime. They did something really dramatic for a cliffhanger, I guess.
Why Truck-kun gotta show up everywhere? Why does he think he's the star? Truck-kun, you need to slow your roll.
Okay, I mean, she survived, so Truck-kun didn't win this round.
Wasn't it Car-kun instead?
It was a Car-kun.
Yes.
Truck-kun's little brother. Oni-chan. Oni-chan, don't hurt my senpai. I'm making up my own anime now. Screw this.
But yeah, I do think she has like a pretty good chemistry with Aaron's performance as Haru, and it does make a lot of their dynamic pretty fun and cute at points. Again, I do wish it was just the two of them and not like a bunch of other girls. But again, like novel, I wish it wasn't.
Man, as a young single girl, I definitely self-inserted myself into Haru, and I was like, oh, if only like somebody's that cool and that like beautiful would like love me. I bought it. I bought that romance.
That's funny, because I actually think it is like slightly less wish fulfilling now than I did the first time I watched it. It's like the first time I watched it, it's like okay, yeah, of course, like gamer dude like gets beautiful girlfriend and all that, like it is kind of cute, but it does feel like very wish fulfilling. And once again now, it's like oh no, and then once again now, and like having. And having a bunch of like nerdy friends with girlfriends, it's like oh yeah no, I can totally buy she's interested in him and he's just like not too stupid to realize it. Again, it would work a lot better if there were not a whole bunch of other girls making that whole equation weirder than it needs to be. But alas, this isn't that kind of show, unfortunately.
We tried for like maybe 2 episodes. We tried, fam.
So
Yeah, and on that note, I guess it's time to talk about the man of the hour.
My little piggy, he's so cute. I just want to eat him. Not literally. So cute, little piggy.
You need a squishy doll.
Oh yeah.
I have one sitting right next to me. Maybe I should use it.
The big avatar is very cute.
Y'all, Haru had it rough, man. Like, not only did he have it rough, I think that just voice acting him was a rough time. Because Eric had to play the protagonist, but then he also had to be really whiny. But he had to grow into his character too. Mm-hmm. Like, I felt that he had a lot of growth, and like, you can hear in his voice the way his confidence grows as Haru from episode 1, where, you know, he's just a loner kid playing squash or whatever he's playing by himself. And then the last episode where he's slicing up Nomi like it's nobody's business. Mm-hmm. You know, you can hear it in the performance, the way that he's growing up and being more confident in himself and in his relationships with other people. But my favorite part, and I don't really get what happened here because I was only half paying attention to it, but he had some kind of like chip in him, and the chip like made him, I don't know if it was like do bad things, but made him like a little more aggressive. And then he was cursing, and I was like, this is hysterical. This is the best. Like, I'm terrified.
I think specifically it was like the whole armor thing from the second arc with Nico. Apparently, like, I guess Haru accidentally downloaded that, and that might be possessing him. So, yeah.
Is that when he started having all the crazy dreams about, like, possessing Hiroyuki as an object and not letting anyone else have her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Like, that performance in those parts was so good. Like, he was, like, cursing. I don't remember what he said, but I know he said fuck. And I was like, oh, Eric, my dude, What did you do to my sweet little pig?
Yeah, he, like, turned into this feral hog and like, pinned Kuroyuki Hime's butterfly avatar with the pins to the wall, and it was all, like, dark.
Oh, it was crazy. It was dark. I was like, ooh, that was some good acting. Mm-hmm. That was good.
Yeah. Now, what I can appreciate from Eric's performance, and I'm going to compare this directly to Kawahara's other work, is that Eric actually made Haruyuki relatable.
Yes.
Yeah, as opposed to the GQ model from his other series. No offense to Bryce, but Kirito is just such a bland protagonist. I mean, he's handsome, he's capable, he's talented. His entire backstory is his parents are dead and he's good at kendo and computers. That's it. That's all that Kirito is. In comparison, Haruyuki very much feels more human. Like, he's fat, he's short, he has flaws, he gets bullied. He's not magically good at video games. He's not a genius. He had to practice. He got good at video games because that's all he knew to play to help him relieve the stress of his real daily life. And that's how he got good. He wasn't just a prodigy. He literally get good at video games, which is why and that's so much more relatable. I think a lot of the reasons why Sword Art Online is the more popular series is because a lot of Haruyuki is similar to what a lot of gamer fans actually are, as opposed to what Kirito is like who they want to be.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so I've actually seen a lot of people get really mad and call Haruyuki a disgusting character because he's a cliche of actual gamers. Yeah, no, people have like, oh, he's disgusting. He doesn't represent real life gamers at all. He's like, I'm like, yeah, he kind of does, in a way.
I'd be like, excuse me.
Okay, to be fair, that is a slight against Haru. I mean, say what you will, he does. He eventually does, come together enough to actually deal with these problems. So one of these guys would never.
Right.
Haru bathes. He's good boy.
Yeah. But no, that's
He's a good boy.
That's just what I wanted to say. Is that's why I personally prefer this series and this character to Kawahara's other work, because I can find it more relatable.
I do too.
Oh yeah, I definitely like Haru way more as a protagonist than Yuri do.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad that people are going to hate on something that either, number one, they know they shouldn't be hating on because it's just a self-reflection, or number two, they just don't understand. Like, everyone's a person. Like, you think the short fat kid who you bullied in middle school who played Pokemon cards like isn't a person? Like, that's terrible. Here's your anti-bullying PSA. Like, they're gonna grow up and they're gonna like be rich because they have $100,000 Charizard. What now, my dude? It's sad like that people will shit on something if they think it's not like the ideal thing that they should aspire to be, I guess. To which one thing about the performance I will bring up as a point of praise. I mean, the Japanese version technically doesn't do this either, but as Megan mentioned once before during the Little Ones Academia episode, there is an unfortunate, well, not trend, but there is a thing that happens sometimes where you get a really chubby character, and then, a voice actor will do, like, a really annoying, stereotypical fat person voice. Oh, yeah, that's like in Kiss Him, Not Me. That happened.
Yeah, and I am very, very, very glad Eric Kimura did not do that here.
Same. Oh, that would have ruined the whole thing if they would have played it off for comedy. Dude, the fat people don't always have to be funny all the time. I mean, I know I'm hysterical, but I'm joking. Y'all aren't laughing. This is how unhysterical I am.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm really glad he just, like, played it. I'm really glad he just, like, played it normally, and it really helped the performance, and in general, I just really like the performance a lot. Again, Haru is pretty relatable, especially in the way he's kind of like doing with a lot of anxiety early on in the show, and I think that Eric did a pretty good job of like handling all of that. And then, as with before, like as we get further throughout the show, and he does kind of start building more confidence, and you do see that reflected in a lot of Eric's performance. Especially during the back half of the show, where he like starts getting a lot of stuff, like a lot of accusations thrown at him, and he just kind of has to like do his best to deal with that. And you can kind of hear like the growing confidence in Eric's performance, especially during those moments. And I thought he handled a lot of that really well.
I know that this came out a lot earlier, but looking back on it in retrospective, he's sort of like the Deku for video gaming.
Yeah, he does have a pretty decent amount in common with Deku, I would say.
Mm-hmm. I hear it.
Okay, obviously a little more of a light novel protagonist than a shonen protagonist, but yeah, he does have some similarities with Deku.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys see that video of the guy who went to Dragon Ball Super and was like doing his Deku impersonation before the movie?
No.
Oh my god, it's on TikTok and you have to find it. All the Dragon Ball fans are super mad about it and they're like, that's not funny, bro, you embarrassed yourself, that's so cringe. And I'm like, dude, that dude is good. He sounds just like Justin Briner. In fact, I had to like squint. I was like, is that Justin Briner? If you guys find it, it's on Twitter and TikTok. Like, all the Dragon Ball fans are mad about it. They're like, ooh, MHA fans are so cringe.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that's my
Dragon Ball fans are mad about literally everything. Dragon Ball fans are
I don't-
mad that the game got rollback netcode, which is, a good thing. So,
I don't even know what you're talking about. I know shit about Dragon Ball, except I like the daddy with the glasses. That's my boy. I think his name is Gohan.
oh yeah, he's the star of the new movie.
Gohan. Yeah, he's cute. It's cute. He's like a daddy, and he has glasses. He has little hipster glasses. And I was like, I like this guy. And Chris is like, you would. I know shit about Dragon Ball, guys. My boyfriend took me to see the movie, and I'm just like, yep, don't know what's happening, but I like that dude. And then I want to, like, squeeze the little baby. She's so cute.
Yeah, she was very cute.
But look up that TikTok. You won't be disappointed.
So, are we about to wrap things up?
Let's wrap it up.
It was pretty interesting getting to rewatch the show for the first time in a few years. I always said when I watched the show compared to SAO that I definitely preferred it. I want to Sword Art Online, and having finally seen all of Sword Art Online season 1, I so definitely prefer this show.
Here's something that's really going to jog some of y'all's memory. I originally watched this dub on Neon Alley.
Wow.
Same here.
So I had to watch it on their terms, because if you remember, Neon Alley is not a video on demand, or at least it didn't start as one. You had to wait until the specific time it was going to air to watch it.
Yeah, man, it is really wild to think that Neon Alley was literally just maybe 7 or 8 years ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a few years ahead of its time, because then curated channels became a really popular thing again.
Yeah.
So literally, if it had just come out a few years later, it would have been really popular.
Yeah, because isn't Pluto kind of a thing now?
Yeah.
Oh, I love Pluto. I watch Pluto every day.
Pluto is the only way I can watch Ugly Americans legally, so...
Dude, Diagnosis Murder is on Pluto. There's old episodes of The Price is Right. Clearly, I'm 65 and don't give a fuck.
Oh, man, I mean, there's the Bob Ross channel. There you go.
Oh my god. They have a channel that's entirely Survivor. Pluto is my shit. The commercials suck. I wonder if I can pay to get rid of the commercials.
I don't know if they have a paid option, but I do know they have.
They do have anime channels on Pluto.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of them, actually.
This is not a paid advertisement for Pluto, by the way. Just
Pluto, sponsor me. Hook your girl up. I'll watch Diagnosis Murder and do commentaries on all of them, because I watch that shit to go to sleep at night.
But anyways, back on subject is,
Sorry.
Yeah. No, I first watched this back when it came out in 2013, the dub version, which was about 9 years ago. And, I thoroughly enjoyed it then. I watched this after I had watched the first season of Sword Art Online, so I'm like, and at first I didn't know it was even the same guy. So I'm like, hey, I actually don't think this is bad. Kawahara did something good. It's not perfect, but I mean, I once mistakenly referred to it as a masterpiece. I don't think that anymore, but no, it's one of my favorite anime. Not quite top 10, maybe top 20 at this point, but I need to go back and rewatch it because I had a good time with it. So.
Yeah, I have very fond nostalgia times thinking about Accel World, because I think I was rewatching it when I first started my YouTube channel, and back then my YouTube channel was actually me talking about anime. Don't go back and watch those videos, please. You'll hate yourself. I hate myself. Not really, but it's cringe. It's cringe. But I didn't like it as much watching it now. Maybe it's just because I've become jaded and I do this for a living where I critique things. But I do still really like it. Like, the design of Kuroyuki Hime in her butterfly outfit is beautiful. And I'm not a huge robot person, so I'm not, I could care when they were fighting, but I just wanted her to love Haru forever and for them to be cute and hold hands and skip down the hallway. And then I realized that we're not going to get that because the anime ended before the light novels were over. But no, I did enjoy watching it again. Like, a lot of it took me by surprise, especially since I don't think I had ever heard the dub before. So, like, all the Ben Diskin parts were a riot. And I enjoyed my time. I don't think that, like, it used to be, like, up in my top 2, like, for watching it. I've always liked it better than Sword Art Online. I've always said Accel World is the better Sword Art Online. But would I watch it again? Yeah, but probably like not for another 10 years. But it was still really good. And the dub, it holds up in some places. It doesn't hold up in other places. But you have to remember that it was done, almost 10 years ago. So you gotta give it something for its faults and just go from there and know that Lucian Dodge is the GOAT. And yeah, I had a good time. Thank you for having me on this episode, guys. Like, it was fun. It was really fun to rewatch this. It wasn't a chore like it has been for some of the things that I've watched for Dub Talk. Also, shout out to Anthony for requesting it on Patreon because
thanks. I've been wanting to do an episode on this show for a while actually because I've been wanting an excuse to rewatch it. So glad I got one.
Isn't it nice? I feel like all the Patreon requests are like right up my alley, which is why all I do basically is Patreon episodes. So shout out to all of you Patreons who pick the coolest stuff, and we'll see if I'm on the one for next quarter. You have a good 75% chance that I will be.
This is a lot of fun, and glad I got to do an episode with you guys. It really has been a while.
Oh, yeah.
It has been a really long time, fam.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I did an episode with you just not too long ago, but that's Summer at the Movies. It doesn't really count.
That's true.
Well, I haven't talked to you guys in forever, so what's that about? Clearly you need to slip into my DMs more often.
But yeah, I guess that more. I guess that more or less does it for here. So again, we are the Dub Talk Podcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, the Dying Embers of Tumblr, and new episodes of the podcast go up every Friday on YouTube and as well as other places where you can watch podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, all those places.
Apple.
Yeah. And if you'd like to support anything we do, you can do a one-time donation to our Ko-fi, or you can be one of our lovely patrons. And before we wrap things up tonight, and a quick shout out to our patrons. In the $5 tier, we have Becca's Mom and Dad, Michelle Travis, Nico Robert Mawayawe has, and Victor Marabota. And in the $10 tier, Anthony Brown. Thanks again for letting us do this episode. Carly Lessicow, Kristen Akinda, Jacob Wilson, Darren Hawkins, Bruce Valenti, and Hako Anthony. Thanks again, guys. We really appreciate your support.
Thank you.
You guys are awesome. Except that one guy. He knows what he did.
So, you guys have anything you want to plug?
I am Spaceman Hardy. You can find me on Twitter at Spaceman Hardy. I don't really do much other than occasionally make a snarky quip, or I need to tweet more goat pictures. So if you pester me for goat pictures, I will tweet a goat picture. How about that?
More goats, Hardy.
Mm-hmm. I could always use more goats.
Yes, we could all use more goats. Too many goats. Too many goats. Too many goats. Too many goats.
No, stop it.
Too many goats.
I really hope that was one of the things that was casualtied off HBO Max, because then I will never have to watch it again and my life will be better for it.
We don't talk about HBO Max.
I just did a whole episode praising HBO Max, and now I have to take all my praise away because they're dickbags. Ooh, I didn't say that. I mean, HBO Max sponsor me. I love Gossip Girl like I did last week when I recorded that Gossip Girl, the Belle episode. Anyway, my name is Gigi, also known as Anime Palooza. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, Pop Shop Live sometimes, doing whatever, trying to stay stress-free and happy for 2023. That is the goal. I also just recently moved to Texas, so if you know any place in the DFW area that's cool that I should check out, let me know and I will come visit and like do some tweets and pictures about it, because apparently I think Twitter is Instagram, which I do not have.
Oh, cool. And as for me, Jet, you can find me on Twitter at DefineNega, where I will usually just be talking about anime news, cartoon news, or just whatever's happening. You can also find me on another podcast ONA, where I'll usually be talking about anime news alongside fellow Dumb Tacos Andrew. And then sometimes I write things for A&M.
I hope do you get paid for that?
Yeah, I do.
Good. Get that money. You're worth the money, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And I think that really does more or less wrap it up for tonight. So yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thanks again for joining me, guys.
Well, thanks for diving into the virtual world tonight. I hope your brains aren't burst.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I have no more bad puns. Love your faces.
Keep it manly.
Yep. Have a good evening, and until next time, we'll talk to you on, friends.